Hey guys, what's up? So we're back with the latest news, and the Galaxy S22 series is ready to be unveiled in February 2022, approximately a month later compared to the S21 series. But fear not, as we have another device from Samsung launching in January that might as well be just as exciting, especially in terms of the price. I'm talking about none other than the Galaxy S21 FE, which has been delayed quite a bit and should finally be launched in January next year. The entire spec sheet of the device has been leaked, and to be honest, not a lot has changed from the S20 FE, but still it comes with some solid specs for the price. The phone should have a 6.4-inch dynamic AMOLED 2x display with a punch hole for the selfie camera. It is a Full HD Plus resolution and comes with support for a 120Hz refresh rate along with an in-display fingerprint sensor. Now, of course, it will be powered by the Snapdragon 898 or the Exynos 2100 depending upon the market, just like the regular S21 series, and come in two variants with 6/128 and 8/256GB of RAM and storage. The camera setup is most likely going to be the same with a 12-megapixel main camera, a 12-megapixel ultra-wide and an 8-megapixel telephoto with 3x optical zoom. Now, I would have loved to see an upgrade in the camera department, but sadly that's not happening. Anyway, the front camera is a 32-megapixel unit, so the camera should be good but nothing to blow your mind, and I doubt it will be able to compete against the Pixel 6. The battery capacity remains the same as well at around 4500 mAh with support for 25 watts fast charging and 15 watts wireless charging. IP68 water and dust resistance rating will be a part of the package as well, but what's interesting is that it will come with Android 12 out of the box, which does mean that it will be supported for longer compared to the regular S21 series, which was launched with Android 11. Now, Samsung has this 3-year Android upgrade plan for their premium smartphones, so it will be supported till Android 15. Now, this was kind of expected given that the phone launches just a month before the S22 series, so the S21 FE and the S22 should both be supported until Android 15. The phone might be unveiled during CES 2022 for a price tag of around $699, as anything above that would be a hard sell for the device, especially after the launch of the Pixel 6 at $599. And also the fact that the regular S21 will come down in price right before the launch of the S22 or just after it. So would you prefer to get the S22 or the S21 FE? Do let me know in the comment section. I think most people would pick the S22 over the FE. Moving on, so the results to the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1 isn't looking as good as the processor gets really hot during the initial testing on a Motorola device. The Snapdragon 898 already runs pretty hot, so that doesn't look good. Like the 8 Gen 1 is going to be used on a lot of Android flagships next year, and if it doesn't perform well, then the flagships won't be able to deliver a good experience. Anyway, apart from that, it is looking like one hell of an SoC, especially the GPU, which is almost as good as the Apple A15, as you can see in these benchmarks of GFX Bench Manhattan off screen, where the Snapdragon actually beats the A15 with quite a margin. Next is T-Rex off screen, where it pretty much matches the A15 with just 1 point behind. 3D Mark is where there is a little bit of a difference, but for the most part, it should be able to match the performance of the A15 in the real world, which is just fantastic. And we should be able to find out within a couple of months if it actually does that. Now, though the GPU is vastly improved, when it comes to the CPU, Apple is still the king, as none of the upcoming Android flagship SoCs will be able to touch Apple A15 or even the A13 according to IS Universe in terms of the CPU performance. But Qualcomm might be able to change that within a couple of years, as they have decided to ditch ARM and use Nuvia's independently developed CPU architecture from the 8 Gen 3. So maybe that will be a turning point for Android smartphones, where they will be able to compete with the Apple A series of chips head to head, but that's what we have been expecting from the past few years. But obviously it hasn't happened. Fingers crossed. Now, even the Exynos 2200 isn't looking as good as we thought it would be according to ICE. Even with the AMD GPU, it might still be inferior to the GPU inside the Snapdragon 8 Gen 1, which is a real disappointment. I was expecting that with AMD GPU, Samsung will be able to challenge Apple, but things aren't looking good for Exynos, and maybe that's good that Samsung has decided to use Qualcomm chips in the majority of the markets the S22 series will be launched in. We also have the storage configurations along with the pricing of the 3 devices in the S22 lineup. So the S22 and S22 Plus will be sold with 8GB of RAM along with a 128 or 256GB of storage, and will be available in pink, gold, green, black and white. The S22 Ultra, on the other hand, might come with 12GB of RAM with 128 or 256GB of storage, along with a 512GB variant that might come with 16GB of RAM. Also, it will be available in dark red, black and white. But these might not be the only variants on offer though, as an S22 Ultra with 8GB of RAM has been doing the rounds on the internet along with a green color variant. Samsung might launch some exclusive colors in some markets, so the green might be a limited edition, but we'll have to wait a bit more to get some more details. The battery capacities of these phones has also been leaked through FCC. So the S22 Plus carries a battery with a rated capacity of 4370 mAh with a typical capacity of around 4500 mAh, whereas the S22 may get a 3700 mAh battery with a typical capacity of around 3800 mAh. The Ultra is the only one not losing out on battery capacity, as it gets a cell with a rated capacity of 4855 mAh or a 5000 mAh typical capacity. So both the S22 and S22 Plus might lose around 300 mAh, but should be able to offer similar battery lives compared to the S21 and S21 Plus due to the more efficient processors and displays. Now, charging the S22 should be at a maximum of 25 watts, while the S22 Plus and the S22 Ultra might be upgraded to 45 watts. Now, finally, as far as the pricing is concerned, the S22 series is expected to keep the same price as the predecessor. So the S22 should cost $799, the S22 Plus $999, while the S22 Ultra might go for $1199 in the US. And this is where things get interesting, because we also have the S21 FE lined up for launch just before the S22 series. So the FE can't go over $699, which in itself would be hard to justify, given that for only $100 more you could get the latest Galaxy S smartphone. So will Samsung launch the S21 FE for an even lower price like $599 and match the Pixel 6? Who knows? We sure will find out soon enough. So that's it for this video. Do let me know what do you guys think of the video and the phones as well in the comment section. Also subscribe to the channel for more tech videos and hit the like button. I'll see you all in the next one. Till then, bye bye and stay safe.